Hey guys, MD Prepper here. This is not a gear review, not exactly, though I guess there's gear in it, thoughts about it, but I'm going to talk about my thoughts on high visibility paracord. You don't see a lot of it, they make plenty of it, but generally when you see paracord for sale, you're going to see your standard black, your olive drab, your coyote, your camouflage type multicolored cords and all of that. And I understand why people like that, you know, the whole tacti-cool, it's more military, blah blah blah, and it's cheaper to buy it in a big spool of the dark stuff. I get that, but I was thinking about paracord and why we carry paracord. Why do you carry paracord in the wilderness? You can make paracord, not paracord, but you make cordage. You can make various things out of vines and whatnot. Well, it's a pain. You carry cordage because cordage is one of the hardest things, the most time-consuming things to pull together in a hurry out in the woods. Can you carry a knife? Because I'd hate to sit there and have to chip off some flint or some obsidian to make a knife. So we carry paracord because it's handy, because it has a lot of uses, because it's easy. It doesn't rot. It's not going to break apart very easy. Lots of functions. You can tie things together. You can improvise a backpack or straps or tie all sorts of things together. Again, it's cordage. I'm not going to go over all the points of cordage. We generally think of it in darker colors. And we say, oh, well, it's good to be low profile. It's good to not be seen and all that. For cordage, I may be changing my mind after I've been thinking about this for a while. I want to be able to see my cordage. Now, I'm going to say most of the time when you're using cordage, the color is probably not going to matter at all. During normal light conditions, you're, tying something up to make a structure for shelter, anything else you may be doing with cordage, that's fine. Any color is going to work in general purpose conditions, but when is it going to be really important to tie things together in a hurry? It's going to be after hours. It's the middle of the night, a storm blows in, your shelter, something, you didn't tie a knot right, something like that, and I don't care how good of a knot tire you are. If you're in a hurry, you get excited, or you just get forgetful, you're going to tie some bad knots every once in a while. Again, I've done it. I've been a fisherman all my life. Get a bunch of fish biting, lose a lure, oh my god, here we go, start tying a knot in a hurry, just trying to get the next piece of bait out there, and all of a sudden you tie a bad knot and off goes your lure. It happens from time to time, even to the best of us. So, middle of the night, your cordage doesn't tie down quite as well as you thought it was, or you need to tie some extra cordage, that sort of thing. Low light conditions, yeah, you got flashlights and fire sources and all that, but still going to be low light conditions, still not optimal for the human eyes. Why in the world why don't we tying things with black in the middle of the dark? Or dark brown or OD or whatever color you want, coyote. No, I want this stuff. I want something I can see, something bright, something easy to see. I can find the ends of it quickly. You may argue, well, you should be able to tie your knots in the middle of the dark, without looking at them, hands-free. Not if you're stressed out. If there's a storm blowing in, there's water all over the place, you're trying to tie down an end on something like that, you're not going to be thinking as clearly. You're going to try, you just get the knot tied, get it done in a hurry, get back under shelter, that sort of thing. Why wouldn't I want high visibility? Again, like I said earlier, we talk about paracord for its versatility. Well, there's more versatility in the bright colors, I'd say, than the dark stuff. One of the things they teach you, for an example, is that if you're going off into the woods on a path you don't know, or, something along those lines, and you're worried about being able to track your way back, is to leave markers, that type of thing. You leave a stack of rocks pointed in with a little X or an arrow, something like that, cross some sticks, pile some things up. Anything to show that you've been there before, whatever style you tend to use. Well, if you're doing that in low light conditions, middle of a storm, that type of stuff, you're stressed out, you're hurt, any number of things, you're going to forget things. You're not going to be as on point as you normally would be. You've got a distractor in there. So, or if you're just in a survival situation in general, it's going to be stressful. So, you're not going to be observant as you want to be in a lot of things. Unfortunately, the human brain just doesn't work that way. So, why wouldn't you want high visibility? Again, going out on a trail, going out on a path you don't really know, you're supposed to leave markers to find your way back. Why in the world would you sit there every, few feet or whatever and try and stack some rocks or point some twigs or something? If you're doing that in lower light conditions or in a stressful situation, there's a good chance you're going to miss those. Now, they're better than nothing. I'm not saying that's a bad idea. You know what's probably a better idea? Take some of this bright orange, blaze orange paracord, take a little loop of it and loop it around a tree limb, something like that out in your path with some nice little dangling orange color, or zombie green as I'm going to call that, that's going to be a heck of a lot easier, especially if you tie them all at the same level, same height, so you know where you're looking. It just strikes me as obvious. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. First purchase was this, what I call zombie green. I'm now forever calling this zombie green. Paracord I bought for my zombie killer line of knives just because they come with some zombie green shoelace, basically, for cordage, and I just wanted some actual paracord to go with it, just to fit the theme. It was just kind of a gimmicky little thing I picked up on a cheap little order there. I think this was $3, I think, for 50 feet. Just for fun, just to have it. And then the more I got to thinking about it, I said, shoot, why not buy more colors, something bright? So next time I order some blaze orange, and yeah, I got some more black and all my standard colors. But the more I think about it, I need more of this. I need the hi-vis stuff. Again, this is going to be great for marking a trail. What do they do in modern marked out trails? The Forestry Service comes through with some bright paint and paints a certain color on the tree stumps or rocks or whatever to find your way. Why in the world wouldn't you try to mimic that in an easy setting format? This makes perfect sense. If you're making your way back and it's daylight hours, you're slowly making your way back, you can recollect these. You can use them over and over again. You have little pre-tied little loops. You don't have to keep cutting off. You just loop it over a tree, tie it down easy, off a branch, something like that, somewhere you're going to be able to see it, just to find your way back. And again, there's plenty of uses. I could go on and on and on. You say, well, it's not as tactical. You're not going to stay as hidden. Okay, if you got a campsite somewhere, and you got a fire burning, and you got a bunch of people living out in the woods, it's kind of a dead giveaway, guys. The thing that's probably not going to give you away is going to be the color of paracord you choose or do not choose. So the black isn't going to serve you better than the color, and I think the bright colors are probably going to serve you better overall, honestly. Now, not that I'm going to stop carrying the black and all that and other colors I've got the big giant spools of, but the color stuff makes sense. I did a log on tonight, Google search, that sort of thing, saying, you know what, I wonder if they make some glow-in-the-dark paracord. That might actually be better overall for a lot of different purposes. You can find your rope in the night, you can find the knot you've already tied, you can find the ends of it. Again, it's better than nothing if you're dangling it from a tree trying to find your way back in the dark. This would be great, but this glow-in-the-dark would be even better. I found something that was glow-in-the-dark paracord. It was called Tracer. It's your standard kind of camo look to it, but the little white pieces, the lighter colors, do glow-in-the-dark, so you're going to have little streaks like tracers running down the paracord. So, don't know how practical that is. I may pick some of that up. If I do, I'll give you guys a review later. But put some thought in this high visibility paracord. It may just serve you a lot better in the long run, especially in an emergency type situation, than anything like this. Could you form this out on the snow into letters, something like that? Help, SOS, anything like that. Black versus snow, black's a common color in the wintertime. Not going to stand out a whole lot. Put these two together, wrap them together, and stick them out in a snowfield. Somebody from the air may notice it. Again, just another example. I could go on and on. Welcome your reviews for other ideas about hi-vis paracord. We'll welcome other posts for notions, but marking a path or trail, tying things together in the night, those are the two that just come to mind with me. Plenty of other options, but anyway, hi-vis paracord. Give it a shot, give it a try. You may actually like it. I think I will. Again, I may try that glow-in-the-dark stuff. See how that works. MD Prepper out.